Life, it's full of surprises, highs, lows, and some pretty intense struggles. But what if I told you there's an ancient wisdom that can help you deal with it all? Today, we are exploring the 4 forms of suffering according to Buddhism and how they apply to your life. Whether you are stressed about work, dealing with aging, or just trying to figure out what's next, this video is for you. The concept of suffering. Okay, first things first, let's talk about suffering. No one likes to hear that word, right? But in Buddhism, it's seen as a fundamental part of being human. The Buddha, after spending years meditating, discovered that life is filled with suffering. But hold on, it's not all doom and gloom. It's about understanding how we can deal with it. And guess what? The Buddha didn't just leave it there. He also gave us the 4 noble truths, a roadmap for understanding and dealing with suffering. We will discuss the 4 noble truths in our next video. Number 1. Birth, the beginning of the journey. Let's kick it off with birth. We all love the idea of a fresh start, right? New jobs, new relationships, a shiny new year. But here's the catch. Birth is where it all begins, and with beginnings comes the reality that, well, things change and things eventually end. Birth in Buddhism isn't just about the joy of new life. It's the start of the whole cycle of impermanence. No matter how great the beginning is, it's always followed by aging, sickness, and eventually death. Deep, right? But in today's world, how often do we get caught up in the pursuit of success, status, or the perfect start? We chase new beginnings thinking they will bring us happiness. But does it? The Buddha's message. Start with awareness that everything is fleeting, even the most exciting new beginnings. Number 2. Aging, the inevitable change. Alright, now let's talk about aging. The body. It changes. Wrinkles appear, hair turns gray, energy levels dip, and those once strong knees, let's not talk about those. Aging in Buddhism isn't just about physical decline. It's a reminder that everything in life is temporary, and guess what? That's okay. The Buddha said, why fight it? Instead of fearing aging, why not embrace it? Modern life puts so much pressure on us to stay young, to look perfect, to beat aging. But that's just attachment to an ideal. Aging is just another part of the cycle. It's about letting go and accepting the wisdom that comes with age. Number 3. Sickness, mind and body in crisis. Next up, we have got sickness. We all know this one. No one escapes it. Whether it's a cold, a chronic illness, or a mental health struggle like anxiety or depression, sickness reminds us how fragile we are. In Buddhism, sickness is a form of suffering, but it's also an opportunity to reflect on how deeply we identify with our bodies. We don't just get sick in the body, we get sick in the mind. And when we do, we can feel lost, overwhelmed, or even broken. But the Buddha also gave us a way out. We don't have to get trapped by our illnesses. Instead, we can practice mindfulness and cultivate compassion, not just for others, but for ourselves. Sickness reminds us that everything is impermanent, even our pain. Number 4. Death, the ultimate truth. And of course, the big one, death. The elephant in the room. Everyone has their own relationship with death. We either fear it, avoid thinking about it, or find ourselves face to face with it unexpectedly. In Buddhism, death is not the end. It's just another step in the cycle of samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. We get so caught up in the idea of living forever or having our life go exactly as we plan. But here's the truth. Death is inevitable. Instead of fearing it, Buddhism teaches us to live fully in the present, to let go of attachments, and to accept that death is just part of the journey. When we understand death, we start to truly appreciate the moments we have. So, what does all this mean for us? Whether you are struggling with burnout at work, fearing the passage of time, or dealing with sickness, Buddhism gives us the tools to accept suffering and transform it. We don't have to run from suffering, we can learn to live with it. By accepting that life is impermanent, we can stop chasing the next perfect thing and instead focus on what truly matters: mindfulness, compassion, and living in harmony with the flow of life. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and drop a comment letting me know, how do you deal with the impermanence of life? Do you practice mindfulness? Or do you struggle with it? Let's talk about it. Remember, life is a journey, one that we can navigate with wisdom and mindfulness. So, don't be afraid of the ups and downs, embrace them. Until next time, stay present, stay mindful, and as always, stay amazing.